Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video I am going to solve a programming problem using assembly language and using emulator 8086. So the problem's statement here is that I have to write a program that will create an identity matrix, and I will take the dimension as input. So if you don't know what an identity matrix is, it's just a matrix, square matrix, which has ones in the diagonals, like all ones. Like this one, if in the example, if an input of 3 is given, it will create an identity matrix of 3 by 3, and ones will be in the diagonal. So we will use obviously loops to create the identity matrix here. And so let's get started. So here, okay, so I have created a template which I'm going to use, the template that I always use. So here, first of all, what we need to do is create use loops to create, because we need like 2 loops to make the identity matrix. But first we do need to have an array, not exactly an array, because first when I was saw the problem, I thought of doing this using 3 different arrays, but I later realized that 3 different arrays, like array in general, is not necessary to solve this problem. So I'm gonna do what, the first thing that I need to do is to get the input from the user first. Quite easy to get the input from the user is using the interrupt. So I'm gonna put A01H to AH and call in the interrupt 21H. So this will have the input from the user, but the input here will be in ASCII value. So what I will be getting, if the user puts number 3, I'll get 51. So what I need to do is to subtract I will get 33 in hex format. So what I need to do is subtract 30 to get the actual number the user has put in. So I'm just gonna subtract 30 from the AL and store the value to AL. Now what I need to do is to loop through. I'm going to of course use 2 loops. One would be the outer loop, one would be the inner loop, and the outer loop will create these 3, I'm just gonna do this. Yeah, the outer loop is going to create the 3 rows, or the amount of rows that I need, and the inner loop will give the 1s and 0s and everything. So that's the initial plan. So let's start putting down loops. So firstly, I will use the CL register counter register for counting the number of the number inside, like how many times the inside code inside the loop will be repeated. So it will be of AL times, because if I put 3 in AL, and it's gonna repeat it to 3 because I need 3 rows. Okay, so moving this and then calling the top function as I always do, and then loop to top, and this is going to make it loop 3 times, or the number of times the user given. So now what I need to do is specify another loop, but I think yeah, so I'm just gonna call it top inner, because why not, because it's the inner loop. And this is also going to, I need a counter, because this is going to count. Firstly, firstly what I need to do is make a counter. So I am just gonna use 2 counters to see if the values are what do you call it, I need 2 counters because of the inside loop, inner loop, and the outer loop. So I'm just gonna use the entire bx register for the counter. So I'm specifying bx to be 0. So in this case, what I need to do is, so yes, I do need 2 counters. So I'm gonna use the entire bx register for the counter. So firstly, excuse me, yes, specifying it to compare. I guess I do not need the CL, the loop function here, because the loop function exactly does the opposite. The first, like in the first iteration of the loop, it will be, the CL will be 3, then 2, then 1. But what I need is 1 and 2 and 3. So I am not exactly going to use this. I'm just going to comment it out and see if like something works. So I'm just going to use the jump function to top, but not exactly the jump, because we'll have to check if my counter is equals to 3. So here, my outer counter, I'm just gonna use BL. So I'm just gonna compare BL, the value of BL, with CL. Not exactly CL. It was AL, but okay. It was AL. All right. So yeah, it was AL, of course. So what I am going to do now is to increment the BL, because after it's been incremented, it will be of it will compare and then, like, loop back when it's not 0. Sorry, when it's not 0. Yeah. So what else? So this is like the construction of the outer loop. The inner loop will be the counting of, yeah, the same thing. Just I'm going to increment BH, and I have to compare BH with AL again, and then just, yeah, if it's not 0, jump to top inner. Yeah, I've constructed like the 2 loops, and now I have to put in what will be inside of the loop. So the the question is, like, how do I, like, specify one here, one here, but not here and here, and then in the second row I'm specifying a 0 here, then a 1, then a 0. So what is exactly the algorithm for doing, like, displaying the ones in a diagonal fashion? So the thing that you would need to understand, that this is row number 1, and this would be the first iteration, this is the second iteration, and this is the third iteration, and this would be row number 2, and the 1 is on the second iteration, and row number 3 has a 1 in the third iteration. So the number of times the inner loop has been gone through, if that number equals to the number of rows, the number of outer loop, there will be a 1, otherwise it will be a 0. So to do this, I think the best way would be to check the 2 counters, if the 2 counters are same. If I can, like, make you understand it, like here I'm specifying both BL and BH to be 0. When it goes into the inner loop, it increases the BH value to 1, then it goes back again to the top because it's not equal to 3. Then this becomes 2. Then when it becomes 3, after the third iteration, this becomes equal, and this does not work and goes out to the BL. So now that after it go on up to 3 times, the BL value increases by 1, and then again it becomes 0. Okay, I did not put a 0 to make it like before 0, so I am going to make BH 0 here. So move BH 0, because after each after each inner iteration is complete, like 3 times this has been complete, the BH will have to be set to 0 again, so that, like, I can count it from 0 again. Yes, so now need to check if BH and BL is equal. So comparing BH with BL, if it is 0, which if both are same, because like if both are equal, there will be a 1, and if both are not equal, there will be a 0. So not 0 will be a 0. So I'm just gonna make these like somewhere else. So inside here, I can call these inside 1, and 0 to be like this. Yeah. So here I am going to specify like to put a 1 in the screen. So putting out a 1 is just easy as using the interrupt. So I'm going to change the value of age to 02 because I'm showing now, and then interrupt using the interrupt of 21h. It's gonna show the value of DL, but we have to put the value of DL inside of the we have to put the value of 1 inside of DL, so DL comma 1. But this will not work because this is not the ASCII value of 1. ASCII value of 1 is 31h. And then when it's done, it's gonna exit. So exit out of this one, so that like this does after this is done, this does not, like the 0 doesn't run also with this. So I'm just gonna specify the 0 with 30h. Yes, that's 30h. I'm just gonna open this up for your reference. I don't know if you can see, it's very small, but you can just press this ASCII codes to like bring out this table. Okay, so again, moving h to 20h and using the interrupt of 21h, and then no need to exit because it's like below. I'm just gonna specify the exit here though, for like after the 1 has been completed, it comes down to the exit here. Okay, so what have I missed? So this will compare, and then it will just do it. Okay, yes, I need to like go to the next the next row after this has been done. So I'm going to specify go to like BH, value of BH. No, the BL would be the value. So I think what I'm gonna do is the first row would be the input. I have to start with the second row, so I need to use another register. So let's use DH because DH is not used in here. So I'm going to store the value of BL here, and then I'm going to add DH comma 1, and then I'm just going to specify to go to XY of 0 comma the value of DH. Have I missed anything? No, I think I can run it, like hopefully it works, and we'll solve the errors together. So I'm just gonna let it run, and then when I press 3, it might, okay, it's like going off to an infinite loop, so no, there's something wrong here. Let me just see what is wrong. So I'm just specifying the interrupt, taking the BIOS value to be of 333, so it gets subtracted here to make it 3, and then we're making 0, then moving DH. Yeah, this is the go to XY, so I'm not bothered with the thing. So now it's moving VH to 0 and comparing so comparing PL to VH, and it's okay, so it's gonna produce a 1. It is gonna show the 1, yes, good. Now it's gonna exit the increment VH, comparing VH to A. Okay, the AL value, as you can see, changed when the BIOS showed the 1, so we need to store the value of AL somewhere else. Yes, we can to use this CL register. So I need to compare it with CL here, and need to compare it with CL here. Hopefully it should work now. Let's see. So running, giving 3, yeah, it works perfectly. I don't know if you can see it. No way to zoom it out, so I can reload, run, and give a 5 input, and it's gonna show 5 rows with a diagonal of 1. So it is creating the identity matrix. So yeah, this is the code to do it. Hope you understood the explanation, and hope these will come in handy. So thank you. If you want me to do any other problems in assembly, feel free to let me know in the comments, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.